Happy Friday. I don't know what's going on today, but I just literally watched 5 Italy travel tip TikToks that were like, pack light, don't drag a big suitcase around Italy and thought, well, that's not really an Italy specific travel tip. Of course, pack light. Is anybody packing heavy? I don't understand. If you are out there in the world still packing heavy, then you know you're not supposed to be doing that. Like, that is not a real Italy travel tip. Nobody should be packing heavy to go anywhere anymore. I don't care where you're going or what kind of job you have. Unless you're a fashion model, you should not be packing heavy to go anywhere. Carry on only. I mean, unless you have status, airlines are charging you to check that bag. Like, that should have stopped us all from packing heavy a long time ago. So, I have posted about this before in detail, and I have a whole blog post about it. But I have 5 Italy specific travel tips that, or better, maybe better framed as Italy specific travel mistakes to avoid that you should definitely know before traveling to Italy so that you don't have to watch TikToks that are out there telling you to pack light. Of course, pack light. Do that for everywhere. It's not Italy specific. And I'm sorry if that makes me sound like a hater, but it is what it is. I am who I am. So, my very first tip for you is to slow down. And this can be applied for most places too, but Italy specifically, there is it seems like a small country, especially for those of us Americans who live in a huge country where you definitely can't see it all in one sitting. But there is a lot to do. And because us Americans only get 2 weeks of vacation, 2 to 3 weeks of paid vacation, it can be really tempting to try to put a crammed itinerary together where you're bouncing all over Italy and spending 2 days everywhere and trying to see it all. I mean, I know the feeling, I really do. But the number one travel mistake you can make in Italy is not slowing down because there is so much to see and do in every single area of Italy. You're going to really regret if you're spending one night or 2 nights in a place and not really getting to see it all or getting to see such a small taste or running around that you don't really get to enjoy it because you're just trying to hustle everywhere. So, when you go to Italy, slow down. My number two tip is to pick one region, maybe two. Again, you'll look at like drive times between cities or train times between cities and be like, that's totally doable. I mean, Rome to Florence is only 2.5 hours by train. I can go to Florence for 2 days, right? Like, no, pick one region, 2 regions maximum. Because again, there is so much to see and so much to do that those logistics will really get in the way, even if it's 2 hours, 1 hour, however long it is. Pick 1 to 2 regions, make sure those regions are close together and slow down and minimize your logistics. Like that is the way to see Italy. A small story. I was once sitting on a train and talking to a guy from Croatia, talking about Italy because Italy was one of my top destinations. And he was like, "Oh, you need 6 trips to see all of Italy." I was like, "What? Are you sure?" He was like, yes, you need 6 trips, especially if you're including like Sicily and Sardinia, to see all of Italy because there's so much to do, there's so much to see, um, that you're going to need 6 2-week long trips to see it all. And I went to Italy and I literally went from Milan to Tuscany to Rome to the Amalfi Coast. And I can 100% guarantee you that was the wrong way to do it. Like it was way too quickly. And I that piece of advice from that guy from Croatia, which I didn't even get his name, from 10 years ago still rings true. So if you don't listen to any more of this TikTok, the two most important tips are to slow down and pick one region, maximum two. Otherwise, you will be miserable running around Italy trying to see it all and fighting 100 other Americans in every single line that you go in. Um, and you won't really enjoy it as much. My number three tip is to not go in summer. I know that's hard for anybody who's a parent and you want to take a long trip to Italy, and summer is the most reasonable time to do that. But Italy swelters in summer. Rome, you literally feel like you're melting in Rome in summer in Italy. And there are people everywhere. There's just crawling with people everywhere. I literally would never go back in summer. I will never go back to Italy in summer. Spring, fall, except you guys know, can go in August. Europeans take August off. Um, are the best times to go. I would even try to go in winter again before trying to go in summer because it was truly sweltering and miserable. My number four tip is to not stay in Ravello if you go and visit the Amalfi Coast. Honestly, the Amalfi Coast was so miserable for me. There were more Americans than there were Italians there. There was everybody speaking English everywhere. Everything was so expensive. I didn't feel comfortable shopping. Everything felt overpriced. I felt like I was getting ripped off everywhere I went. I feel like all the locals were super annoyed because they were crawling with tourists everywhere. I would not go to the Amalfi Coast again if I had to choose to do it again, but I would especially not stay in Ravello because when there are that many people, it is really difficult to get from Ravello down into like Amalfi or Positano. If you must go to the Amalfi Coast, it's on your bucket list. You have to see it. Pay up the money, stay in Amalfi, stay in Positano. Um, Go visit Ravello for the day. You can take a taxi up there, a way overpriced taxi. But don't stay up there. It's the most beautiful prison in the world because you'll never be able to get back down unless you're willing to pay for an overpriced taxi each and every time to take you up and down the. Finally, my last travel tip is to give Rome a fair shake. I had heard so much shit about Rome before visiting Italy that I was like, okay, we'll only stay there 2 days. We'll see the Vatican and be done. Like the Vatican and the Colosseum and be done. And I was so upset because I liked Rome so much. And I was really upset that we didn't have more time there. Give Rome a fair shake. It's a huge city. There's so much to do. There's so much good food to eat. There are tons of tours. Like you need at least a week. You basically need a week everywhere in Italy, I think, which is why you should pick one or two regions. But if you go to Rome, give it at least 4 nights, at least four. Give it a fair shake. Don't let the internet tell you that Rome is dirty and there's pickpockets everywhere and it's not worth visiting because it's not true. I loved Rome. I can't wait to get back there. I want to spend like a whole month there if I can. Um, but trust me, it's worth giving it a fair shake. Go in it with a clean pair of eyes and, don't let the internet influence your decisions. But that's it. Those are my 5 Italy travel tips. You guys know, pack light.